Hello, and this week I'm actually bringing you an episode whilst I am covered in spots. If you are watching from YouTube, you won't be able to tell, but I actually do have chickenpox all down my back. There's a couple on my neck, legs, and yeah, I've got chickenpox, and so have my boys. So chickenpox has taken over our month this March, actually, and there's a little message in that. So before we get into today's topic, I feel like something that my coach said to me on our mastermind call this week is that I was dealt with one case of chickenpox with my daughter a couple of weeks ago, and that wasn't enough to push me to take a step back. So the universe has dealt me with 3 in one go, including myself. Now, little disclaimer, none of us have actually been poorly with it, and we are so grateful for that. Although my son Archie has had it really, really bad compared to the rest of us. My husband's still never had it. So a couple of days ago when I woke up and saw that I definitely did have the spots and the chickenpox, I came out of the bathroom and went, for fuck's sake, I've got yours. Because he's never had it, I've got a second go, because I did have him when I was a child, according to my mum. So yeah, that's been the gift that keeps on giving this month, which is really frustrating. But I did this week decide I pretty much did nothing work-wise on Tuesday, didn't do much work-wise yesterday, and have rested a little bit more and not pushed because I need to listen to the message that's been dealt, and that's to rest. So if this is happening to you, and I know that in this scenario you're probably thinking, I don't have time to take a step back right now, as we all do, then just listen to that, because the time when you don't have the time to take a step back is the time when you actually need to. And so I've listened. However, I am here today recording this week's episode because I really didn't want to miss this topic, and this topic is something that I'm a bit nervous on sharing, but I need to talk about it. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's something that I have gone through and I've seen many people go through, and I need to find some speakers on this topic, people who've been through that, and bring more of this and more insight of how you can get to the other side, because I think it's so interesting. But I also think it calls people out, and people won't like that. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna do it. So today's episode, I am covering ditching the safety net, how to stop playing safe and build your dream business. And I will tie in at the end back into sales, strategy, systems. I've said that in the wrong order for the podcast, but I will tie back into it, into strategy, sales and systems in terms of escaping the safety net. Okay, so that it still relates to what I do, and because it's gonna come handy anyway, whether it relates or not. So let's get into it. Taking a deep breath there, because I'm nervous about it. I do get nervous about sharing my thoughts and my opinions, but it's time. So forget my words right. So ditching the safety net, how to stop playing safe and build your dream business. So I know that by talking about this episode has the potential to inspire and empower you and provide real steps for change. It's not just about talking, it's actually about leading a movement for me. This is something I'm so passionate about, and it's come up recently in conversations as I've been working on my own message and my own business and supporting my clients with theirs as well. And it's about that movement. This is the movement I actually want to create. I want to take other people like me, for parents, caregivers, and give them the chance to take back control of their financial future. Because I see people who are similar to me, they've got neurodiverse children, or they may be a carer for someone in their family, whether it's their parents, whether it's their partner, whether it's the children, whatever scenario you're facing. There is a lot of us out there, but I see that people keep trapped in that safe zone of just being that carer, identifying as that carer. Or maybe you don't. Some people don't. I never have. And yeah, it keeps them safe. It stops them living out their full potential. But the only reason it stops you is because you allow it, plain and simple. So I see these people wanting to earn more, wanting to book the dream holidays, wanting to go to these business events that they see other people attending. And I get it, because I was that person. I remember when I first came into contact with the network, Mums in Business Network, Mums in Business International, as it's now called. I was on the outside. I was fresh into that community. Wasn't really speaking to anyone. And I remember seeing the MIB Awards. And they did like a catwalk. Everybody were getting pictures together. It looked like an amazing event. Everybody looked like they were friends, like they knew each other. And I felt really excluded, like I hadn't been invited, even though no one knew who I was. So how could anybody invite me? But then fast forward to last year, when I went to more in-person events than ever before, I realised nobody has to invite you. You have to invite yourself. And this is what I'm talking about, is going from that place of feeling that you have to be invited and inviting yourself, and taking that step yourself and getting into those rooms, getting into those situations, making the friendships, making the relationships that lead to more clients, that lead to more community, that lead to more potential for your business. Because long term, from doing those things, you sign more clients, you make more money, and then you can book the dream holiday. You can go and attend more of those events. You can go and make those friendships. You can do all those things. So I really wanted to talk to that, because I see it a lot. I see a lot of people say, I don't have time to do X, Y, Z because I'm a carer. I can't do this because... Anyway, and I'm going to talk to you about this today. So I want to start off with my own challenging circumstances, because I am not an exception. I am not. I am just like everybody else. In fact, one of my main bits of feedback that lots of my clients give me is that they love how down to earth I am, how normal I am. I mean, I don't think there's such a thing as normal, but I get that a lot. So I just want to highlight that for those of you that are listening that maybe have forgotten and thought maybe she's getting too big for her boots. No, I'm not. I'm still the same person. I'm more ballsy to share my thoughts and my opinions than I were previously. And there's been a lot of growth to do that. But also, for those of you that don't know me and haven't heard my story. So, my son's autistic, newly diagnosed, and he has up until, I want to say September 2024, we still have this going on sometimes, but he's doing the best he ever has in school. So he's autistic, he's 8 years old currently, and daily going into school he'd have meltdowns, and it resulted in exclusions from school, and most recently he's been suspended. So we are in March right now, so we're in the spring. Is it the spring term? I don't know, I forget what the terms are called, but we're in spring. And before the half term in February, he had a week off school because he was suspended. So that was a very new one that we had to navigate. My husband has had over 10 surgeries since we met. So we've been together for 13 years, just gone. And since we met, he's had about 10 surgeries. I think he's definitely had more than that. He had 2 before we met, and the rest have been, we've been together. We've actually lost count now of how many surgeries he's had, and he lives with multiple disabilities, and recently has been diagnosed with ADHD at age 35. And all of that comes with its challenges with frequent hospital visits, clinic appointments, GP appointments, as well as sometimes being bedbound because of the pain that he's in, which sometimes leads to violent vomiting. So you can imagine like all that comes with. My eldest son is awaiting autism and ADHD assessments and struggling with emotional regulation, and he's got a real high sense of justice, which apparently can be common in autism, which I didn't actually know, and I really see that in him. We completely missed this as parents until about 6 months ago when Senko pointed it out. Cue some guilt around that, but you know what, we're choosing to let it go because it is what it is, and as long as he's getting the support he needs now at 11 years old, that's the important thing. In the past, I've struggled with my own mental health and my physical health journey. That's something I'm still working on right now. Dealing with anxiety, postnatal depression. I've had counselling in the past, therapy, and I've had challenges in the workplace actually as well. I believe it's possible that I am neurodiverse too, and so I think I have ADHD, and I've actually struggled to build a profitable business. I've struggled for 6 years in my first business, then that took off and I started this business But then when I was doing really well, I struggled with the money side of it. Managing the money side of it was really challenging for me. It still can be, but I'm a lot better now than what it were. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of growth. And I think sometimes people don't see the actual challenges that you face as someone that cares and gives to other people, as someone that is neurodiverse themselves, and how different it can be. However, it doesn't become an excuse for us not to succeed, not to do the things that are going to move us forward. So I have come out the other side. So from employment to self-employment, I've gone from running a keepsakes business and working. I think I was working full-time when I worked for the Co-op, actually. I tried different MLMs with like FM. I think I even signed up to Avon once and did nothing. Then started to run networking events when my first business was successful, and then I launched this business that I'm doing now as the Queen of Business Organisation. However, I didn't start off as that. I was a creative business coach, then burnt it down and rebranded after 2 years and started this business as the Queen of Business Organisation, which was awful. It was horrendous, but it was the best thing I ever did, because what's come out the other side is so much more aligned, so much better, earning more money, it's profitable, love it. And then I'm starting a new business this month, actually. Can't say next month anymore, it's this month. Starting a new business next week, actually. So by the time this episode goes out, I'll be launching in the next few days. Exciting. Which is going to be called the Social Success Circle. And I do have plans in future for either a charity or a CIC, where I want to help those who are self-employed or working, who are also carers, because I'm really passionate about that and I really want to help those people. So I plan on something like that in future as well. So my resilience has really shaped the future, like the successful future. And I'm not making millions, but I share what I've created for myself and family. I love that now we're in a position where I get to do what I love, and if the kids have chickenpox, I can sit on the couch all day and watch EastEnders and things like that. So I want other people to get to a point where life feels aligned, but they're getting where they want to be in their business. So let's really dive into it. So there is a comfort in the trap of the benefit system, and this is the first thing I want to talk to, the thing that makes me go, oh, you can't talk about that, because I know there seems to be a lot of camps. People are either for them or against them, and usually you sit in one camp. Either you've worked all your life and you pay tax, or you've been on benefits and you've never worked. That is not true. That is not true. People have flitted between both as they need. I have flitted between both. And so what happens actually when you are on benefits, there's nothing wrong with that, take what you need. But what happens is it acts like a safety net, and it can keep you playing small. And it really angers me actually, because I feel like it's set up this way on purpose, because it keeps you just in survival mode. So you're always just looking to pay the next bill, or to, you know, to cover the next thing or whatever, and you kind of feel trapped. And I know that a lot of people listening to this will resonate. So this will be whether you're on benefits, whether you're not on benefits, but I want to talk about the system particularly and how it does keep you trapped. Because if you're on benefits, you get that money in, it pays your rent, it pays your bills, whatever, and you may have a little bit left over. And then if you're working, money comes in, pay your bills, pay your rent, might have a bit left over, we get taxed horrendously. If you're self-employed, it's horrible, because you think, yeah, I've made it, I've made a lot of money. You're then paying tax. I can't remember how much tax is, 20% is it? When you earn enough to be taxed, and then if you hit over 90k, you have VAT on top of that, so you're losing around 40% of your income, which is ridiculous. Like, how hard is that to deal with? So people facing that reality and having to hit that keeps people playing small. But then even the benefit system, it scares you, because if you earn too much that you've got to be surviving on your own, you've got to be responsible for your own finances, responsible for your own bills and your own tax. That's scary, and it keeps people playing small. I truly believe it is. I never realised this until a couple of years ago. I was at a business event, and in that room one of the girls burst out crying because she realised this for herself. And when I listened to her saying that she'd always been on benefits because she had kids young and she really wanted to make her business work, but she was trapped because she was so scared to earn too much money and come off the benefits that she wouldn't be able to manage. And in that moment, it was like, boom, it hit me as well. I was like, that's me. I had never resonated with something so much in my life, and it was me. And from that day on, I was like, I need to get out of this. But at that time, it didn't really propel me enough to do something about it. It was only in the past few years that changed. And I want to tell you that when you are profiting and some of that benefit that you get gets taken back off you, you can be okay. As long as you don't sit in that fear of losing that financial support, because that will keep you stuck. That will keep you where you are. And instead, you reframe it as a stepping stone to success. Like, you're successful if your benefits are being lowered. You're successful if you're having to pay tax. And don't think about it as it's where you're permanently at in this rocky, unsafe zone. It's not. You can move past that. And this is something that even recently that I have to remind myself of, because I'm at the point where my business is making money, and that has happened, and like I feel like the money that comes in is just straight back out again. But I actually had to recognise, I had to give myself a wake-up call that I've expanded out of that safety zone, because even though everything's in and out, actually what I'm paying out for now is a little bit more luxury than I would have had a year ago. For example, I've got a gym membership, but it's not just a 40 quid local gym membership. It's actually a luxury business lounge membership where I get a gym and a spa, and I can use the business lounge there, and I get a membership discount. It costs me, price has just gone up actually. It's £180 something a month, which is a lot, and loads of people go, oh my God, that's expensive. Yeah, but it's a luxury for me that I want. I want to go to the gym every week because I'm working on my health. I'm loving going swimming. I love using the spa. And I want somewhere nice to work where I can be fed and it's productive, and I've got coffee and nice ice cold water and fruit on tap, and that's what I get there, and I love that. So I'm paying out for that. I'm also paying out for my husband's membership at the same gym. We could have gone for the local 40 quid one, but we didn't. We've gone for the same as mine. His doesn't cost as much, but still it's higher than the average gym membership. I'm paying for a health coach, and I can't even remember what else. Like, I'm paying for driving lessons for both of us, and these are not essential. I mean, you could say driving lessons are essential to get the car, but it's not essential that we both drive. Well, it kind of is in our situation, but I'm not going to go into that. But they're not essential. We don't need them to survive, my point is. But I'm paying for them. And this is not me sat here bragging. This is me highlighting the fact that, yes, all the money's going in, all the money's going out. However, I am actually outsourcing and paying for stuff that I wouldn't have done a year ago. And these get to be luxury. I'd have more money if I weren't paying for those. But that was a choice. So it made me realise that I'd escaped this trap and this comfortability in the benefit system. And now, every month I report my expenses, earnings and expenses, whatever, and I feel more in control than I ever have. And the reason I feel in control is because I educated myself on how the benefit system actually works, which was massively helpful. What will be taken when I report my expenses, and then this puts you in a position of power, because instead of fearing what's going to happen, you can just be prepared for it. And this is why I truly believe in organisation. And I've only just got past the first point and realised that this episode is probably going to run over, but I feel like it's so important to talk to. The second thing I want to talk to around escaping the safety net is the power of self-identity and shifting your mindset. So this came up recently for me, and I didn't even, this is the thing, we're not even consciously aware that we're doing it. I was listening to a podcast where she was talking about these pages on Instagram where these women are all on a fertility journey, and they're going through IVF and they're infertile or whatever the scenario is around that. And she noticed that these women are identifying as this type of person because their Instagram bios were saying things like IVF survivor or infertility survivor, I don't know, something like that, right? Where it made them identify as a victim. They self-identify as the problem that they're having. And I looked at my personal Instagram account, which I forgot what it's called now. I think I've literally just put it as my name. I've changed it over the years quite a few times, but I'm happy with it now. I'm going to keep it as it is now. I'm just going to check. Yeah, it is just Dani Louise Smith now. But it was previous to this, it was called ND Family and Me. And I realised I was identifying as someone with neurodiversity, as a family with neurodiversity. And I'll still talk about that. Is part of my story, but it's not who I am. I'm going to drink my coffee because it will go cold. So I'm going to take the occasional sip. So I was self-identifying as that person, as a victim. And I was in victim mentality. And we need to not be a victim of our circumstances, because that victim mentality keeps us in the same cycle, that we're never getting anywhere, that we're not solving it. So instead, I want you to make that shift to identify. In fact, I'm going to actually share with you, because I had in my Instagram bio, and this is something that will massively help you within your business as well. In my Instagram bio, I have something about like mental health, disability, neurodiverse family. I was fully identifying and embodying that. I was being a victim. So instead I've shifted it from, this is not what I am, like who am I actually, like what is it that I want to identify as? Because that is going to be the difference between surviving and thriving. And you want to be manifesting that positive outcome. You want to be envisioning this future for yourself. Yes, we have these struggles, we have these circumstances, but don't allow them to be something that you are self-identify as. So I want you to shift your mindset around that. So I'm going to share with you what I changed my personal Instagram bio to. And it made me even change my business one as well. So it used to identify fully as, I wish I'd have taken a screenshot first, but I didn't, as ND Family and Me. And it was all about, like I say, mental health, disability, all these things. And I've changed it now so that my tag is Dani Louise Smith. And like the name bit on your profile is multi-business owner and best-selling author. Definitely more positive. That is who I am. And then in the about section, I've put master of resilience and creating an extraordinary life and helping others to escape being a victim of their circumstances. Check out the work that I do. And in there, I've literally linked my Queen of Business Organisation website and my Social Success Circle website. But there is a difference there. I've talked about who I actually am, master of resilience, what I do, and sorry, I was just looking out the window wondering what the hell my husband is doing. So I was doing that, and I changed that. I changed how I identify, and it's so important because we need to identify it as who we actually are and shift our mindset around that. So I want you to actually spend some time, bit of homework for you. Look at your bios. How are you identifying? How are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to other people? Are you in victim mentality? And I want you to start doing the work on shifting your mindset. Shift between surviving into thriving. There's a difference. I want you to dream of the success. I want you to take action and not just dream of the success. Don't sit here thinking, oh, I wish I could go to that business networking event, but my children are neurodiverse, so it's not going to work. No, you can ask for help. You can find solutions. There is a way around it, because I see this all the time. Unless genuinely you can't. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, I left the gym. My husband was really, really ill, and I rang him, and I was supposed to go to a friend's studio opening in Doncaster. So this would have taken out my whole day, and we were actually having my nephew stay over that day, and I was like, I can't go. I can't leave you with 4 children when you're this ill. So at that point, I decided, I made the decision not to go. Sent him to bed. He was actually in bed for 2 days, and then I caught it, the joys, and then I missed more work things. But that I needed to prioritise him and the kids in that moment over myself going an hour away, which actually would have taken all day because I'd been travelling by train. So I needed to prioritise that. So I did. So in those situations, fair enough. But in a situation where you physically can do something, where you can ring someone else to come and watch the kids, ask for the help. Ask for the help. Okay, I'm going to move on now because this has been quite a long episode, usually around 20 to 30 minutes, and we're already around 30 minutes in, I think. So I'm going to keep going. I want to talk about the reality of being a carer and caregiver and running a business. So a lot of parents and caregivers put their own dreams last. I see it all the time, and I get it. I do understand why, because you believe you can't do the business work, you can't do the thing for you unless everybody else is okay. But the reality is you want to put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can take care of others. That's the first thing. But the reality is you need to let go of the guilt of prioritising yourself over other people. There is nothing wrong with caring for your children, caring for your partner, caring for your parents, wherever the care goes. There is nothing wrong with doing that and working towards your dreams at the same time. In fact, if I wasn't doing this business, I'd have gone crazy right now, because actually the reality is I probably couldn't work a typical job because like with my son's exclusions and suspension recently, and husband's hospital appointments, which can be quite frequent, or he gets ill unexpectedly and he literally has to go to bed for days. And when that happens, I can't just say, call up work and say, I can't come in today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come in tomorrow. Nobody will stand for that. Whereas in this business, I can work around it. So it's okay to recognise what holds you back and work around it. But still prioritise yourself. It's necessary. Because when you're 80 years old and you're retired and you're putting your feet up, will you look back and regret not working on what you truly wanted to do, what you were truly passionate about? Or would you just be happy that you just cared for everybody else? I'm pretty sure you'd probably regret not doing what you wanted to do. And that's really sad. It is really sad. So I want you to start working on the guilt around that, because you can do both. You can have both. So all you need to do is just create a business that fits around this huge responsibility that you have. And this is what I'm massively passionate about, because this is what I've done. And I want to help so many more people to do it as well. Because I see so many parents with neurodiverse children say, I can't work. And it happens a lot when they've not been shown a way that they can be self-employed and they can work around it. Yeah, life is going to throw you massive curveballs and it is going to be hard. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I get it more than anyone, right? But you can make it work. I read a post recently about a business owner who, she makes six figures. Excuse me. She makes six figures, and she was sharing how the real success of her business was that she has a neurodiverse son. So when she first started out, he's really struggling in school. They moved schools to somewhere else in their area, and they still didn't meet his needs. He was really, really struggling. But she carried on working on the business, right? She didn't let it hold her back. She carried on working on a business while struggling her neurodiverse son and his challenges in school. Anyway, she's made loads of money in her business, and so I think it was last year she actually upped and moved her whole life because she found a school that potentially could meet his needs. So her whole family upped and moved to a brand new house, brand new area, registered him in that school, and he's now happy. So her business succeeding actually made that possible. The six figures that she was earning made it possible to go and buy that new house, to go enrol him in a school, to up and move her whole family. And let's face it, if one person in the family is happier, everybody's happy. I know that when my son Archie goes into school happy and calm, I'm happy, because the morning's less stressful for me and I can just go work, right? So if we meet the needs of other people, it makes us happy. But what about meeting our own needs as well? Because you can see there how she had to meet her own need of succeeding in her business to then enable her to have the money to go and move to that new house, to that new area, to that school for her son. So it does get to come hand in hand. And that's a real life example of how it can work. So I want you to look at how the reality of being a caregiver, being a parent carer, and running a business can look. How does it get to look for you? I want you to change your mindset around that. I want you to realise there is an easier way. And for me, it needs to be showing up in all areas. I'm going to be really honest. It needs to be doing the work in all areas, because I know fine well that a lot of parents are not doing everything they can. because they're tired, because they're burnt out, because they don't know where to start. One, ask for help. Ask from someone who knows, someone like me. Like, if you're a parent care and you don't know what to do in terms of getting diagnosis or Senko, anything like that, I'll tell you what I know. I'm no expert, but I'll tell you what I know. But what I am expert in is being able to run a business around managing all of that. I mean, and I'm still working on it as well. I even started this episode talking about my challenges of managing everything that we manage. Like, it comes with loads of appointments, it comes with paperwork, it comes with sometimes having to prioritise the family, sometimes having to prioritise the business. And this week I've had to prioritise family because of chickenpox. and that's not even related to our usual challenges. So these things happen, and there is a way to kind of find your balance, is what I'm going to say. Nothing has to be completely in harmony and balance, because perfection doesn't exist. So the sooner you realise that, the better. And I want you to just be mindful of that. I want you to think about what it can actually look like. Okay, so I've talked at you a lot. I want to talk about practical steps to move forward. First obvious one is that you need to have a mindset shift. So identify limiting beliefs and rewire them. As plain and simple as that. It might be the guilt that you're holding, might be the belief that you can't because of X, Y, Z. In fact, sit down and write down all the excuses that you're making around why you cannot succeed, why you can't spend time working on your business. Rewrite them. Rewrite them as a positive mantra, a positive affirmation. I want you to change those beliefs that are holding you back. The second thing is, I want you to get clear on your business vision. Think about, what do you truly want? If you could do anything, what are you passionate about? What do you truly want? Because when you're connected to that, you are going to find more motivation than doing something that you're just pushing that you're not actually interested in. So it's got to be aligned with you, because when it is aligned, it becomes a lot easier to make time for it around juggling your responsibilities. I always make time to get the podcast done when my kids have got chickenpox. In fact, I've prioritised this over anything else this week. Not done a lot this week, but I've prioritised this because I really want to get this episode out there to help people. That's what I truly want. I truly want to spread this message. I truly want to make an impact on people that are like me. And I can only do that through sharing my story, sharing my tips, sharing my insights. So I'm really clear on that. And when you're clear on that, you will show up and do the thing you need to do to make that vision happen, even when shit hits the fan, personally. And then you need to think about taking small but powerful steps. So what can you do today to get started on that vision? Even if it's just one thing. If it's just one thing. Like, my one thing today is this podcast episode. So take small but powerful steps. And building confidence. I want you to build your confidence around earning outside of the safety net. So if you're on benefits, if you're listening to that, there's no judgment. That is okay. I'm always an advocate of both sides, because I've been both sides in taking what you need. But I don't want you to allow it to keep you small. And I don't want you to come away from this episode agreeing with me and think, yeah, I need to do something and motivated and passionate, but then actually not doing anything that's going to make that difference. And the same applies if maybe you've got a partner that earns enough to keep the roof over your heads. The same applies in that scenario. You're in a safety net. I want you to find your way to overcome that and build the confidence in earning the money outside of that safety net. Because I can do it. I've seen many other people do it. You can do it. And I'd love to take you on that journey. So how do we actually... How do we do that without financial panic? So the important thing really is, before you make any big moves, have a financial buffer. So when I left my job the first and second time, I didn't have a financial buffer. I started working on it though. So in fact, we actually blew it when we moved. I always say blow it. We spent it on this house when we moved, which I'm so grateful we got to do. And so I'm building a buffer now. I always believe everybody should have a buffer for a rainy day. Loads of people go, you can't take it with you. No, you can't. But also it's really shit to be in debt. So definitely build a financial buffer. Do it on your own terms in a way that feels comfortable for you. So I was reading or listening to something recently. I can't quite remember where I heard it, but it was something around a high percentage of people, when they get paid, whether it's a sale, whether you're employed, wherever the money comes from, benefits, whatever it is, most people prioritise paying the bills, and then they look at what they've got left and they don't save. Whereas if we save first and we prioritise first, then it helps to create that financial buffer. We're in a better financial predicament. So I've twisted it in my own narrative. What I've done instead is I work out what money's coming in. I look at everything that needs paying out. Obviously, I've got those luxury things like the business lounge membership and the gym and the health coach and all those things. I look at those, and then I see what's left. And whatever number's left, I split that in two. 50% is savings and 50% is what we've got to live off for the rest of the month, which usually is spent on things like fruit and veg and takeaways, food to be fair, maybe taxis or bus journeys, things like that. So when we have the car, it'll probably be petrol. So that's what I do, because I just believe that's the safest and easiest way for me to prioritise saving. But I'm always saving, and I truly believe in saving some money and building that financial buffer. So before you make any big moves, so before you leave the job, before you invest in the high level coach and pay a lot of money, before you, I don't know, take any big jumps, create a financial buffer, because that just makes life easier. If you are exploring part-time or small, start exploring part-time or small income streams while keeping security. So if this means you have to take a part-time job, do it if it makes it feel good for you, or small income streams to keep you security. So it might be a couple of small income streams while you build towards the bigger stuff, can really help, just to help you feel secure. And you can start making gradual shifts instead of big leaps. So, for example, I didn't just invest in the things like I'm investing right now straight away. This was done gradually. So going back over my investment journey, when I first invested in a course, I paid 30 quid for a social media course because my business was shocking. I was making some sales, but nothing consistent. Money was going in and straight back out again. There was no profit. So back then, I paid 30 quid for a social media course, and that gave me what I needed to be able to implement and get results. And then when I got results and made money, I invested another 30 quid in another mini course like that. I think it was something over 5 days. And then I did that, I implemented that, got results, and then I earned enough money to be able to invest £200 in an email marketing programme. That same programme today now goes for £2,000. I did research into who I was going to go with, and this woman I really liked, I still follow her now, worked with her in other ways, and she was starting out herself, but she knew her stuff. I learned what I needed to learn to get going with email marketing. It was 200 quid, and it was amazing. And it was a gradual shift that I made. I invested in the next thing, learnt the next thing, implemented the next thing, and then I could go bigger. So much so that my most expensive investment, I think, I'm going to say, is my business event that I'm running at the end of the year. So if you didn't know, little plug here, I am running a business event called Innovation Celebration in November 2025, and I plan for this to be a yearly thing, but it cost me £6,000 just for the venue. So that's before I pay my team, before I pay the photographer, the videographer, event manager, all of that. £6,000 just for the room, the food, the venue, everybody that's in that venue, just for that. No decorations, nothing else, just for that. So that's one of my biggest investments. I haven't even paid it all yet. I've paid a deposit, and this is scary. But I've done gradual shifts first. I didn't go from that 30 quid cost, that £6,000 investment. I've invested thousands in coaching, mentoring, different things. And I gradually worked my way up. So that's what I'd recommend doing. And strategies to start earning before you officially transition. So if you are transitioning, whether it's from employed to self-employed, or you're in the benefit safety net, or maybe your partner works and earns all the money, start transitioning. You want to start thinking about how you can start earning before you officially transition to actually bringing the money in. So I want you to think about the plan. So while you're going for that transition, how will you manage it? So for example, I I needed to be aware of what I was going to be paying out for before I started transitioning to come off of benefits. So it's just the more you can educate yourself financially, the more you can know how everything works, the better position you'll be in. And you can easily find out any information you need. You can Google it, you can YouTube it, speak to people who know about it for free as well, and it will help you. Like, in fact, one of my own clients helped me out when I was coming off working tax credits and applying for universal credit. And she had all the knowledge, and it was massively helpful because I was panicking. At the time, I was panicking. But actually, it was a great move. Loved it. Managed really well with it. And the system actually works really well for me and my family. And being able to report my earnings every month and know that I'm in profit and everything's covered, it's nice. So I want other people to feel that as well. So get yourself educated. And I want to talk about the power of support and community. So when you do it, when you work on anything like this, when you're working on ditching the safety net and stopping playing small, because you're going to build your dream business, you don't have to do it alone. It's so important to surround yourself with others who believe in your success. So if you've got that negative Nelly auntie that's telling you, oh, how's your little business doing? Oh, I knew it won't do really well, blah, whatever, right? Don't surround yourself with that. Don't be listening to that. Go and surround yourself with people like myself or other business owners who are going to believe in you, who can see the power in what you can do. So find mentors, find coaches and communities that can help you, that will give you support, that will give you advice a lot of the time for free. Obviously, you may have to invest, but go and surround yourself with those people and start to work on a strategy to block out negativity from people who think you're dreaming too big. Because those people who think you're dreaming too big are actually so full of bullshit themselves, their own limiting beliefs, their own fears, that they're jealous when anyone else is. And it's easier to put someone else's dream down than it is to go and work on your own. And that's what's happening for those people, and they don't even know it's happening. So block out the negativity as much as you can, because what you surround yourself is going to have an impact on your path and where you go. So there is so much power in support and community. So I'm going to give you a challenge to end on. I want you to think about one small step that you can take towards your dream business. I want you to ditch that safety net. So I want you to I want you to commit to committing to one action per day for the next week. And I want you to reach out and share your progress. So do this, write this down, do it, action it, and share your progress. You can pop me a message on social media. I mean, I can be shocking at getting back to people sometimes, but please do. Give me a message on social media. Tell me what you've committed to. Tell me your progress. I would love to see it. And if you want to shout out this podcast episode and share what you've learned, then that'd be amazing too. But I just want to round up on strategy, sales and systems to what I tell this episode, ditch the safety net and stop playing safe and build your dream business. Okay, so in terms of strategy, I'm going to say the strategy bit has to be, the strategy to ditch the safety net is you need to educate yourself and have a plan. So I'm going to say in terms of financial education, financial literacy is so important. Without that, you don't have anything. So the strategy there has to be to become financial literate. It just makes it easier. When it comes to sales and ditching the safety net, I want you to do the work on sales. I don't want you to be afraid to sell because of the fear of earning too much money and having it taken off you. Get rid of that belief straight away. So when it comes to sale, I want you to just sell. Stop being afraid to sell. And then finally, when it comes to systems to escape the safety net and build your dream business, the system you need is simply to, I'm going to say have 3 steps. Step 1, grow your audience. Step 2, nurture that audience and look after them. Step 3, sell to them. And then I'm going to throw in a little step 4, the 4th trimester that I spoke about in the last episode. You want to look after the people that are in your world. Take it from someone who's made mistakes in all 4 areas. So that is your system to succeed and build your dream business. Work in each of those areas, nail those, and you'll be on to a winner. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you've got a lot out of it. Has been a longer one than usual, but this message definitely needed to be shared, and I'm so glad that I've shared it with you. Please do reach out. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, and of course, let me know what you're going to commit to every day for the next week, and share your progress, because I can't wait to see your dream business come to light. Thanks. I'll see you in the next episode.